Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
There she is, live in a hotel room in Orlando. It's Robyn Chambers of Focus on the Family. No, that's not a hat. That's a lamp behind her, everyone. There she goes. Robyn, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me on.
Hey, thank you, first of all, for what you do. I know your passion is child advocacy. There, Dan, I said it.
You said it. Good job, Rick.
Yeah, it's a little difficult for me because it's me, but thank you for having that heart and passion and being a part of Focus that has touched so many lives over the year. Even as we speak, you're there at a conference in Orlando and you're speaking out about Sea Life 2020 and other things. Let's go there. How are they responding to the message of what's coming up?
Well, actually, the conference starts today at noon, and so we are busy setting up. The CareNet conference is an annual conference that we attend just to talk with folks about what's going on in the life space. We have lots of resources for pregnancy center directors and nursing staff that are life-affirming and medically accurate and really help counsel that young woman who finds herself in an unplanned pregnancy and just talking through all of her options. And so I'm excited to be on the floor today with these ladies and men, and they truly are the heroes. And so it is a blessing for me to get to see these folks face to face and just kind of talk through what they're doing and how they're doing, especially in the middle of this pandemic. And so it'll be a really neat time for us to be together with those folks.
Now, Robyn, you're used to traveling around the country and speaking to people and being with people, and I'm sure obviously COVID has impacted that. How has that changed the way you're doing things with Focus on the Family and getting the word out?
Interestingly enough, I think the Lord has allowed us to use this time to be really creative. We've always really tried to tackle our content and communications with grace, with just the kind of the love of Christ. And this has allowed us to be really creative. We've created more content than ever before. We've had videos. We are crazy busy on social, and we have over 140 brand new articles with just amazing stories. We've had so many people who've come alongside and said, hey, this message is so really important. How can we get this out? And so we've had people writing on what does it mean to be post-abortive, and how do I get, to the place of hope and healing, and how do I then use that story to help other women? So we've had those kinds of articles. We've had Abby Johnson and Melissa Oden and wonderful writers that have just talked through kind of how they got involved in the pro-life movement. I'm sure you all know Abby's story, and Abby's a big part of our Sea Life 2020. But just really continuing to get that story out and those really the redemptive stories that have come out of this time of pandemic has been really beneficial. We have one of our very own vice presidents who shared his story about what it means to be a post-abortive man, and it has brought such healing. And we've had really great conversations. And so that ministry has still continued. We've been able to send additional resources out to the pregnancy centers we work with. And so it is different, but we've tried to use technology in a way that blesses those folks and still gets that word out. And our broadcasts are going great, thanks to folks like you. And so we've just been really trying to find really, innovative ways for Focus to still get that message out.
Good.
Robyn Chambers, a part of Focus on the Family. We're talking about Sea Life 2020. We'll get to the specifics in a second. It is going to be the 26th digital this year. Robyn, remind me, was it last year or the year before that it was the Times Square thing, which I thought was huge? It was amazing. Not only the putting that together, the logistics must have been, somebody has no hair this morning out putting that together. But the fruit of that, unbelievable. Were you there? Were you a part of that?
Yes, actually, and it was just last year. It was May 2019. And it was funny you said something about how much I travel. I actually followed the mobile unit from Dallas, Texas, all the way to New York City.
Wow.
And we made stops along the way at pregnancy centers because we wanted folks to know that we partner with pregnancy centers every single day, and they're the ones that are meeting those young women and really counseling those young women. So I, did this cross-country trip with three of my closest friends, now close friends, spending a week together But we just had a great time, just really kind of building up the momentum and that anticipation. And then I was in Times Square. And you're right, the logistics were crazy. But I have to tell you, one of my dear friends, who's the senior vice president of directing, he and I sat down and wrote down all of these God moments. And I came up with like 2.5 pages of just amazing things that the Lord did along the way. And Tim did as well. And we kind of coalesced those together. It's an article that's coming out in a couple of weeks because it was really, truly a God moment. And I had the privilege of being on the mobile unit when we were doing the scan of Abby Johnson and her little guy, who is now, I guess, a little over a year old, Fulton. And watching that unfold was life-changing for me. And I've been in this work for quite some time, but watching people's faces and seeing the realization that that's a baby, that heartbeat echoed across Times Square. And I don't think people had really any idea that you could see the baby that clearly on a scan, or that you could hear his little heartbeat. And I had the privilege of meeting a doctor, a nurse, and a couple directors from right there in Long Island. And we were on the unit when the protesters came by. And I so distinctly remember one of the directors, she says, "Oh, we need to stop and pray for them right now. They're so wounded." What a great reminder that there are people who maybe don't think the same way we do or don't agree with our pro-life stance,
right?
But there's been some sort of wound in their past. And instead of responding in anger, we just sat down on that unit. So that the scanning's going on in the other room, and we just sat down and started praying for those people. And I saw that happen several times. Jim Daly prayed for them from the main stage. Dr. Alveda King prayed. So it really was a time I hope, to heal some hurts and start having conversations about what it means to stand up for those who can't stand for themselves. So I'm just excited that we're doing another event and kind of building on that momentum September 26th.
Yeah, let's talk about that event now. Obviously, it's not going to be in Times Square with a huge crowd because you can't do that right now with COVID. Right. But talk about what folks can expect and how can they get involved.
Right. So the event is September 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you'll have to back that up according to your time zone. Pardon me. And we will have a very similar run through, I guess, or a show. So we have Benjamin Watson and Jeannie Mancini will be our co-hosts this year. Benjamin's a former NFL player. Jeannie Mancini, president of March for Life. We have a great relationship with, both of those organizations, and they will co-host, introducing several of our speakers. So Dr. Alveda King, Christina Bennett, Melissa Oden, an abortion survivor. And so they are some of the speakers that we'll have, but something that we're doing new this year that I'm really excited about. We have an entire program of music that was written specifically for this event. And your listeners and your followers will get to hear brand new music never heard before with some amazing guests, Danny Goki, Selah, Phil Stacey, several other really talented artists that have graciously given of their time and their gifts in writing this music, and that music will be available after. So we're very, very excited. And of course, a 4D ultrasound will be the highlight of the event. And so I won't give it away. I won't say any more than that, but we are finishing with an ultrasound. It's so exciting.
Awesome.
Besides saving lives, Robyn, on the other side of this, what is a huge win for you?
I have started hearing so many stories of young college-age women who have started saying, thank you for standing up for us. Thank you for telling us that we are strong enough to do this. And so I have seen a new kind of a new rally around the life issue in this young crowd. I have a 19-year-old granddaughter who's a sophomore in college this year, and it has started some really great conversations with her roommates and her classmates about what it means to be pro-life. And I think we're winning because it hasn't become, we're not radical. We are really sharing God's grace and God's love and his forgiveness. And I think that's the way we're winning. We're at least willing to have a conversation, and we're not screaming at people. You know, that was one of the things I was asked often last year. Are you going to New York to pick a fight? And I said, no, we're not picking a fight. We're not protesting. We're standing up for life. And I really think using technology like ultrasound has opened a lot of people's eyes to what really happens in a woman's body. And so it's education, it's empowerment. And these young women deserve that. They deserve to be educated on all of their options, not just that one.
That is so good. Robyn Chambers, Focus on the Family. She's the executive director of advocacy for children there. You can go to focusonthefamily.com. It was C/Life or slash C Life. How was
C Life, yeah.
Yeah, C-Life. So focusonthefamily.com and then just C-SEE-Life. All of that information is on there. There's a way to get involved by signing the pledge, and then that takes you into a journey on how you can be involved on September 26th.
Robyn, thank you so much for what you do. Again, your passion, your heart, it's evident. It's right there. And God's blessings to you. And we hope to catch up with you maybe right after to get kind of a post, hey, what happened? We'd like to find out more. See Life 2020, as you can see, Dan put the post there for where to go. And you can also go to our website. There's a link there, faithtalkatlanta.com. We'll be right back. We got to take a break. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.